Hi everyone! If we look at new projects today, it feels like synchronous Django is gradually moving to the background, while modern APIs are more and more often built with FastAPI. At the same time, I think many people, myself included, always liked the Django admin and wanted to have something similar or even better for a FastAPI plus React stack. That is the problem I decided to solve. My admin is inspired by Django admin, but it works in a FastAPI plus SNQL Alchemy plus React stack, uses MUI, has adapters for React and Next, and also has separate import and export extensions. All instructions, examples, and documentation are already available in the GitHub repository. If you like this video or the library itself, please give the repository a star. And now let's look at how everything works. The admin is built automatically from your ORM schema. It does not require special base models or a separate DSL. It integrates into an existing FastAPI plus SNQL Alchemy project, and it does not break your current authorization or dependency system. On the UI side, you get ready-made pages for lists, objects, creation, and editing, a clean MUI interface instead of a handwritten crude panel, built-in Russian and English localization, and grouping of models into sidebar and overview blocks. On the model configuration side, you can precisely control what is visible in the list, in the object view, in create and in update. You can hide fields only in one mode, either create or update. You can override how field values are read and saved. You can also assign system values through a factory when an object is created. On the actions side, custom bulk actions over a group of objects are supported, and custom object actions over a single object are supported as well. On filters and data, there are filters by regular fields, relation filters by related models, multi-select relation filters, custom filter handlers for more complex logic, and relation choices for convenient work with related data. On extensibility, import and export are supported through a separate extension. You can already go and try it. The README is available in the repository linked in the video description. Now let's see how this works for your projects. I have a minimal example project open. Everything here is intentionally simplified. The database is SQLite, and in dependencies we have our library, FastAPI, and SQL Alchemy. In the models file we have regular SQL Alchemy models, a user, a role, and the relation between them. Then we move to the admin configuration. The main entry point here is admin config, and inside it models are described through model config. This is where we explicitly tell the library which models should be exposed in the admin and how exactly they should look there. Using user as an example, you can see that almost everything important can be configured. We set slug, title, the list of fields for the table, fields for the detail view, fields for creation, fields for editing, search, ordering, filters, and actions. These are not abstract settings. List_display defines which columns appear in the table. Detail_fields controls what we see on the object page. Create_fields defines the create form, and update_fields defines the edit form. Search_fields defines which columns are used by search on the list page. Then comes field configuration through field config. This is needed when the behavior of a field does not match what the library can safely infer from the ORM automatically. For example, for a user we need password during creation, but during editing we usually want not the current password field, but a separate new_password field. That is exactly what hidden_in_create and hidden_in_update are for. One field is shown only in the create form, and another one only in the update form. Here you can also define value_getter, value_setter, the input type, and other behavior details. Another important piece is create_item_factory. It is useful when the object has required service fields that should not be entered manually by the user. For example, registration date, an internal key, or system default values. In that case, we create the ORM object ourselves in the required state, and then the library applies the form payload to it. On screen it still looks like a normal create form, but internally we get a fully controlled creation flow. You can also configure different kinds of filters. There are regular filters, relation filters with single or multiple selection, and of course custom handlers. Now about actions. In the example for users, I added bulk actions. These are two custom actions: mark selected users as active and mark selected users as inactive. In code, these are just handlers that receive the selected objects and update the needed field. In the interface, these become action buttons for the selected group of objects. In the same way, you can add object actions if you need an action for one specific object. Then we have model blocks. This is how models are grouped in the sidebar and on the overview page. In the example, there is an identity block, and it contains users and roles. In a small demo, this is just a visual example. In a real project, it becomes a good way to structure navigation by domain instead of keeping everything in one long list. The library already has built-in Russian and English languages. This applies to base interface labels, system text, and metadata that the frontend receives from the backend. Once the models are configured, the next step is connecting the router. This is done with http config and create_router. Here you pass the model registry, a database session dependency, a current user dependency, and the is_allowed function that controls access to the admin. This is an important point. XL-admin does not replace your authorization. It simply uses the existing FastAPI dependencies. If your project already has its own users, roles, and permission checks, you just plug them in here. Now let's move to the front end. The idea is simple. The backend describes the structure and behavior of the admin, and the front end renders it. For that, there's the base XL-admin package, an adapter for React Router, an adapter for Next, and a separate XL-admin-import-export package if you want import and export UI. First, React. In the React example, the admin is embedded into a normal application. It is not some separate special route. We have an app, it contains regular routes, and one of those routes leads into the admin. Navigation is handled by XL-admin-react-router. Inside admin app, an API client is created, the list of models and blocks is loaded, and then shell is rendered. This is the main layout of the whole admin. It already knows how to render the sidebar, overview, model pages, and object pages. Now next. Here the idea is the same, but XL-admin-next is used instead of React Router. Usually the admin lives in a route like app/admin/segments. Then on the client side, you connect use next admin router, and the library works on top of next navigation. The important part is that the backend remains the same, only the front-end adapter changes. Now about import and export. This feature is split into two packages, the backend extension XL-admin-import-export and the front-end package with the same name. On the backend, we add import-export config to the needed model and connect an additional router. After that, the model gets endpoints for meta, export, validate import, and commit import. On the front end, it is enough to add model import-export actions, and import and export buttons appear on the model page. In export, you can choose the format and fields. In import, you can upload a file, choose a conflict handling mode, validate the file first, and only then confirm the import. That is basically it. And again, please start the GitHub repository. If you do not have an account yet, create one and start it. And of course, feel free to share this with friends and colleagues, leave a like or a dislike, and write a comment. If anyone wants to contribute, I am open to it and I will be glad to review your pull requests. Good luck!